Diamond P Sports presents the American Sports Cavalcade. A panorama of speed, color, drama, and excitement. The American Sports Cavalcade.
Pretty self-explanatory scene, right? The rural American County Fair. Well, you're half right. It is the Marion County Fairgrounds in Knoxville, Iowa. But today, they're selling a different kind of American pride.
Read all about it in the Daily Digest. Last night's results, tonight's lineup, all 7 big races for 50 cents.
Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Evans, and welcome to the 30th running of the NAPA Knoxville Nationals for Wing Sprint Cars. This is the 4th consecutive year that we've been here, and we're proud to be part of some pretty amazing growth. Consider that this huge backstraight grandstand didn't exist 1 year ago, and it's sold out tonight. 62,000 fans will have seen the Knoxville Nationals this year, and they will have seen 135 wing sprint cars. You can hear a few of them warming up right now. And no matter how they dealt with high temperatures and high humidity, whether in a tent or an air-conditioned Des Moines hotel room, everybody has had a great time, right? To find out how this final night shapes up, let's go to Gary Gerald.
Well, Steve, down here on the pits, final preparations are nearly complete now for a series of events that lead up to the culmination of the 30th annual Knoxville Nationals. The fields have been virtually set by virtue of the competition earlier this week. And the big story, the Cousins Kinser. 8-time Outlaw champion, 6-time Knoxville Nationals champion Steve Kinser has qualified this car for the pole position. In the meantime, his 26-year-old younger cousin, Mark Kinser, has qualified this car right alongside in the front row. Both men were absolutely perfect on their respective nights. Both men set fast time. Both men won their heats from the back of the pack, and then in turn, both won 20-lap preliminary features. For Steve Kinser, his 29th feature win this year. For Mark Kinser, his 7th time in victory lane. Earlier, I had a chance to talk with both men. Steve, any particular anticipation or any particular pressures on you when you start from the favored pole position trying to win it for a 7th time?
Oh, I don't know. You know, you always want to start on a front row or on a pole. I've lost a lot of races from the front row. It seems like, you know, getting out in a lead and getting comfortable and maybe not moving around on the track enough. But, you know, I know this track pretty well. It's a pretty good sized track. Let's just hope we can get a good start and get out front and get through the lap cars good and clean and get to the checker first.
Are you intimidated at all by the fact that he's there next to you to start this race?
Not really. You know, Steve's no more intimidating to me than probably 24 other drivers that are out there. He's really tough to beat, but I feel safe up where I'm at. I'd rather be there than in the middle of the pack, and this is my year to try, and we're going to try as hard as we can.
Now, by no means are the Kinsers all the story. At Knoxville, there's always a star-studded field. And right behind the Kinsers now for the feature event tonight, 2 drivers from Pennsylvania that you have to keep a close eye on. The veteran Bobby Allen starts inside in row number 2. And right alongside, young Stevie Smith Jr. He'll be driving this car, and a lot of people say he may be the next star of the sport. In the 3rd row, 2 veteran drivers, both former Outlaw champions from Tennessee, Sammy Swindell and Bobby Davis Jr. Now, you may have noticed one name missing from the front runners. The man who's the defending Knoxville champion, who's won here 5 times. He's had a terrible week with tough luck. And for that story, our colleague Brock Yates.
Gary, the man you're referring to is Doug Wolfgang, the defending champion. He has had a terrible run of luck here at Knoxville, capped by this crash in turn number 1 2 nights ago. Doug Wolfgang Wolfgang, starting at the back of the pack in this heat, was driven into the inside fence by 2P Rick Montgomery out of Denver, Colorado. The incident started like this. It involved Tommy Scott, Springfield, Illinois. Lower right-hand corner of your screen, in the circle, the white automobile of Scott's moving down toward turn number 1, cuts across in front of Montgomery, tagging the blue and yellow automobile of Montgomery's and driving him in turn into the Orange 8 of Doug Wolfgang. There he hit that unyielding inside fence, crashes that down onto the apron while Montgomery does a slow roll after the impact.
And incredibly, neither driver was hurt in this incident. The cars, however, both suffered major damage. And I would say physically, even though his car stayed right side up, Doug Wolfgang took more physical punishment than did Montgomery. This all occurred just as Wolfgang pitched the car to make that turn, and watch the car spin right there. You can see the helmet and the neck strain that Wolfgang must have felt inside that orange number 8. And this was disastrous to his chances of defending his title. It meant he could not bypass the following night and go to tonight's A feature. He would have done that had he performed well 2 nights ago. Wolfgang was unhurt. The car was a complete wreck. A brand new race car was prepared, and in typical Wolfgang never give up fashion, last evening he dominated his heat race and transferred to the main event for that particular night of racing. He was not totally happy with the new car. He described its performance as lagging, even though he praised the racetrack as being great. But his crew chief, Deuce Terrell, we see him on the left there, tweaked up the car for the main event, and it was running really well. On his way to a partial recovery from the previous night's folly, he was leading the A main after starting 8th when suddenly again disaster struck. This time it was mechanical. A brand new drive shaft had broken, sidelining him for the evening. We asked his crew chief, Gary, known as Deuce Terrell, how he felt about tonight's chances.
Doesn't look real good. I don't know whether we'll even be able to get in any race now, because we had to be in this race to get in the C. So I don't know.
Nevertheless, Deuce and the crew continued to work on that sprinter. Gary Gerald talked to the Wolf about his chances.
Try to put this setback in perspective. How devastating is it?
Well, I raced a long time, and I learned how to race here. And this is about the biggest race of the season, and it looks like I got no chance. And but I've raced a long time, so it's only, it ain't gonna kill my season, but I like to win here more than anywhere, and it's looking bad right now.
Okay, here is the situation as far as Doug is concerned right now. He's on the racetrack, getting ready to run in the D main. If he finishes in the top 3 in the D, he will advance to the C main. There, he must finish among the top 2 to advance into the B main. There, if he finishes among the top 4, he's into the A main, where he'll start at the back in an opportunity, hopefully, to defend his championship. But overall, enormous odds are facing Doug Wolfgang right now.
Brought to you by Dodge. For performance, quality, safety, and value. Welcome home, America.
V8 Power drove Gary Gelwick's home to a Dodge Dakota 4x4. For Rich Gallo, it was 6,500 pounds of towing. And for Tom Curtis, 2,000 pounds of payload muscle. The midsize Dakota V8, Peterson's 4-wheel 4x4 of the year. And with a new 4x4 Club Cab model, the best all-round pickup you can buy. Welcome home, America.
Now get total savings up to $4,370 on select Dodge trucks.
There's no dashboard light to warn you. No dipstick to check. Yet when warned, they could cause your car to lose control and braking. Don't find out your shocks and struts are worn by accident. Get your shocks and struts inspected at your Monroe retailer soon. Monroe, your safety could depend on it.
I love steak.
I mean a big porterhouse.
Delay.
I like it very nicely medium.
Rare.
The sound is like... Wait. It's not done. Now.
It's been done.
Done.
A1 is how steak is done.
You're living right, you're thinking lighter fish.
Long John Silver's baked whitefish. It's a lighter way to go. So get ready, get set.
Fish! Long John Silver's.
Red Devil enamel. You can always count on its durable finish. Harder than ordinary paints, its beauty lasts and lasts. Red Devil enamel for the finish of a lifetime.
We are back in Iowa for the NAPA Knoxville Nationals, and actually it's us who should be thanking them. Don't you think, Brock Yates? The fans are so terrific to us here every year.
They sure are. They come out here by the thousands and have a great time watching exactly this kind of stuff. Great sprint car racing, mobs of good cars, and a ton of dramatic stories, including Doug Wolfgang's, of course, and this man, Jeff Swindell. Now, like Wolfgang, he is in this D main through a series of misfortunes, including a couple of blown engines, and this incident as well during the A feature last night during the non-qualifiers events. That is Jeff on the outside there, racing Wolfgang, as a matter of fact, in the blue number 4A. He tangles with the 68G, the yellow automobile of Ricky Galt, and it drives him up into the fence. Jeff spins out without doing major damage to the automobile, but it put him out of the event and forced him into this D main. So he faces the same long set of odds, Steve Evans, as does Wolfgang.
And no one had to tell that to Jeff Swindell if he climbed out of that car last evening, Brock. He knows that he is up against the sprint car version of a Mount Everest climb. It's not impossible. It can be done. But, boy, if you make any slip along the way, you're history.
Now, remember now, the top 3 finishers will advance to the C feature here tonight. Tony Wine and Mike Jones up front on the front row, Swindell and Rich Bramer in the second row, and in row 3, Terry Thorson and Doug Wolfgang. Behind them, a bunch of hopefuls, guys that really don't have a really very strong chance of making it. Low-budget guys trying to make it in this sport on relatively low dollars. So we got a couple of really quick runners and a bunch of guys that are doing a good job with what they can handle budget-wise, but going to be a tough row for everybody in this race.
Well, Jeff Swindell and Doug Wolfgang better enjoy starting up towards the front, because even if they're successful in transferring throughout the night, they're going to be at the back from now on.
Absolutely. This is the field. We've got 22 starters in this field, including Marlon Jones at the back. Do you remember that giant crash he had here a couple of years ago, Steve?
Oh, absolutely. Coming out of turn 4, and they are underway. The first race of the evening, the D main, and all eyes are on the number 8 car of Doug Wolfgang and the blue car, the 4A machine of Jeff Swindell. And look at the Wolf move.
The Wolf is already charged up underneath the 26 car of Rich Bramer and beginning to challenge as Tony Wine and Mike Jones continue to lead it.
Jeff Swindell, the blue 4A car, did not get a great start. He's got the 26 machine of Rick Bramer in front of him, no longer. Right around Bramer, and behind Wolfgang comes Jeff Swindell.
All right, here are your leaders, Wyan and Jones, but now being challenged by the orange number 8 of Wolfgang. There he goes by the 38 of Tony Wyan, now in second. The white 66 up ahead of Mike Jones. On the outside, Wolfgang now captures the lead as they head down into turn number 3 and continues to charge hard.
So this big crowd getting exactly what they wanted from Doug Wolfgang, an immediate move to the front. The fight right now is for that second position in the transfer spot. 66 Mike Jones, 38 Tony Wyatt, and 4A the blue car of Jeff Swindell. Swindell's got to move up. He can't transfer from where he is.
All right, the first potential victim, the 38 of Tony Wyatt. He falls to Swindell. Swindell makes a fantastic move between the two of them, drives underneath the 66 car of Mike Jones to take second place. Jones, though, won't give it up easily as he follows him down through turns 3 and 4, but Jeff Swindell. Too much, Steve Evans, right now. So it's the two hot guys, Wolfgang and Swindell, who have established an early lead here.
Yeah, but it's these two guys battling for the final transfer spot. 38, the yellow car of Tony Wyatt, and 66, Mike Jones. Now, Rich Kramer, the 26 car, has fallen back a bit and is getting all he can handle, more than he can handle, for 51, Larry Hillerud. We are halfway through the D-Main.
Good race for fifth between Kramer and Hillerud as we watch our leader, Doug Wolfgang, drive underneath the 11E car of Dave Eakern. Wolfgang continues to charge on here. Up ahead, the 7T, the black automobile of John Tierney. He too falls a lap down behind the flying Doug Wolfgang. Jeff Swindell, the blue 4A automobile, charging hard, but a big job ahead of him if he tries or attempts to run down Doug Wolfgang. Wolfgang is flying tonight.
But I'll tell you what, Wolfgang and Swindell, both solidly trained for it if they can hang on. They're giving the lap traffic a lot of elbow room. They don't need to touch wheels with anybody at this point.
All right, here comes Swindell. There's Doug Clark giving the passing flag to some of the slower automobiles. A lot at stake here for Wolfgang and Swindell, and he does not want to see anybody balk them on their way, hopefully, onto bigger and better things here tonight. But a long, long road for both of them.
And both of them, Brock, also need to conserve their equipment a little bit. If they are successful in this incredible quest, they're going to need something left as the evening wears on.
You're absolutely right. He comes up on the number 47 car, Jerry Hansen. The final lap coming up here. There's Doug Clark holding up that big white flag. Half a mile left for Doug Wolfgang as he continues, hopefully, to advance here tonight.
Well, quite frankly, this is a race that Doug Wolfgang should have won, and he's going to, obviously. But there was not the kind of talent here he's going to face in the C-Main later on when he tags onto the end-to-end. It's going to get progressively tougher as Wolfgang takes the checkered flag at the D-Main.
Jeff Swindell on his way as well as he finishes second. So the two strong runners here, they are now moving into the C feature, but they will start at the back and remember have to work their way through that to finish among the top two to advance to the B. So it's just begun for Doug Wolfgang.
Engine repairs can cost you. So remember, Fram oil filters protect your engine better because they stop more dirt the first time through than any other filter. Fram, you could pay a little now or a lot later. If you want to keep repair costs down, remember, Fram oil filters protect your engine better because they stop more dirt the first time through than any other filter. Fram, you could pay a little now or a lot later.
What do you call a car that out-accelerates a Ferrari Testarossa or a Lotus Esprit? Out-corners a Porsche Carrera. Has been called the affordable Ferrari by Motor Trend and was named one of the world's top 10 performance car values. You call it the Dodge Stealth RT Turbo. Now choose from 4 Stealth models starting at $16,552. Welcome home, America. Advantage Dodge.
New on the Adventure Channel. They're tough, they're brave, and they're all women. They're hips. You've never seen them.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and go.
Dear Thompson's, midway through waterproofing, I ran out of Thompson's water seal and finished with another brand. Then it rained. You could see the difference. Thompson's worked. The other side looked like I hadn't used a thing. Nothing tops Thompson's. Sincerely, Marcia Jackalone.
Doctors measure back pain by how far you can bend. Extra Strength Dones is made for back pain relief with an ingredient these pain relievers don't have. Dones makes back pain go away. Extra Strength Dones, the back specialist.
Hello, I'm Lori Ann Crook.
I'm Charlie Chase. This week on Crook and Chase, Rodney Crowell joins us live.
And Glenn Campbell is caught in our celebrity spotlight. It's all this week.
Crook and Chase, weeknights on TNN.
We're back in Knoxville, Iowa, the Marion County Fairgrounds, where every seat in this huge house has been sold out for weeks. Doug Wolfgang wins the D-Main. Jeff Swindell and Tony Wyatt also pick up transfer spots. And this is a time to remind all of you sprint car fans, if you plan to attend here next year, you better do something about it real quick. There's lots of fans outside waving green money at people with tickets, and they're not selling. Doug Wolfgang out of the car, very unemotional. He did what everybody expected him to do, and that was to win over some admittedly average competition. Gary Gerald?
Well, the first step on a long, difficult road is now in the book. Doug Wolfgang makes the transfer. Now the real hard work comes. Will you make changes in the race car?
I'm going to make a little change, but I don't really know what to do yet because the track's getting slick and right in the middle. But it's real good on the top and the bottom yet, so I can't get it too tight, but I want to tighten it up a little bit.
Got those competitive juices going, I bet.
Yeah, I'm all right yet, but I start to tail this next one. So we'll just have to get it just a little bit better, I think. We're not really right there yet.
All right. Thanks. Steve?
Very cool and very calculating is the Wolf. Let's go to Brock.
Well, Steve, Jeff Swindell transfers, ran a good, strong second. I think Doug had a bunch more power. We could see it on the straightaway, but still, you hung in there, and the most important thing is you keep on moving tonight.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Do what we can do. You get to the 1 or 2 spot, and that's what you got to do in every race. So, he is going down the straightaways a little better. I think we're working a little better. The car's actually working a little better, but I mean, they got a fresh motor in, and ain't much you can do about that. But on the start there, starting on the bottom, I got kind of pinned down, and the top. Normally, when you're running with a little bit slower cars, they'll tend to go to the bottom. I couldn't get to the top, and Doug got up there. That's where he started on the outside, so it made it pretty easy for him to get around there. But we did what we had to do. We're in the next race, so we'll see what we can do with it now. It's just a touch and go game. You got to play it as hard as you can and do what you can do and
keep on trucking, man.
That's it. It's all over then.
Go get him.
All right, thanks.
Okay, Steve.
Thank you, Brock. I'm with Tony Wyatt, Springfield, Illinois, the 38 car. And Tony, you're known as a real short track ace, but you look good tonight on the big guy.
Well, thank you. Yeah, the straightaways are a little long here for me tonight. I normally run on the short tracks in Illinois, Missouri, and Indiana. But I got kind of stuck in a race there with 2 tough guys, and they're pretty tough to beat.
Those closing laps, you appeared to just let me have third. Nobody mess with me.
Well, yeah, I was kind of getting a little loose, and track's getting a little slicker, and we're going to try and tighten the car up. Maybe somebody won't start the next race, and we'll be able to get in.
Okay. See you then.
Well, we got some good news for Tony. His pit crew obviously didn't tell him that the top 3 advance, and he will move into the C main, as will this orange number 8 automobile of Doug Wolfgang, as the crew works hard to get that machine ready. There's Deuce Terrell just mounting up a fresh new left rear tire. I'm sure Doug will get fresh rubber all the way around for this next upcoming race. There's Sammy Swindell over at his brother's car. Sammy already assured of a starting spot in the big feature race, talking with his brother, his younger brother. He'll try to give him all the advice he can to make sure the Swindell brothers are around for the finish here at Knoxville. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Can a Clarion car cassette deck shatter this glass? Yep. Clarion Car Audio.
For high performance that doesn't stop when the rain starts, Aerofoil is the first true aerodynamic blade. At speeds as low as 50 miles an hour, the wind can cause your wiper blades to lose direct contact with the windshield. But Aerofoil's wind channel ports, aerodynamically engineered like an airplane wing, create the downward force needed to counteract wind liftoff and maintain the ideal rain sweeping pressure. For maximum wet weather visibility when you need it the most. Aerofoil, the leading edge in wiper technology.
The only way you'll get bad sound from a Clarion car audio system.
Traffic is backed up for miles. What a mess.
Clarion Car Audio.
What's so appealing about Video PM?
What a doll, and those eyes. Ooh, you're a heartbreaker. I just think he's so dreamy. I'd love to kill some time with you.
Video PM, it's not just the music, it's who makes the music.
George, I'd do the Texas two-step with you anytime.
Video PM, 3 hours of great country hits. Weekdays 5 to 8 Eastern, only on TNN.
Homeowners, if you're tired of ordinary mowers that blow clippings everywhere and clumsy bagging mowers that need constant emptying, here's great news. It's the breakthrough mulching mower from Troy-Bilt, a revolutionary new kind of mower that ends bagging and raking forever. The Troy-Bilt mulcher has no discharge chute to spray clippings, no awkward bag to fill up and clog with grass. In fact, the mulching mower doesn't leave clippings at all. Whether you're cutting your lawn or mulching a blanket of fall leaves, the revolutionary blade and deck design vacuums clippings up to be cut and recut into tiny nitrogen-rich particles. 100% natural free fertilizer that's recycled directly into your lawn. The results are remarkable. A beautiful, super healthy lawn with less time and less work than ever before. For full details on the revolutionary Troy-Bilt mulching mower, call toll-free 1-800-638-9898. We'll send you a free Troy-Bilt mulching mower catalog by return first-class mail. So call 1-800-638-9898 now.
We're back in Iowa, just outside of Des Moines for the NAPA Knoxville Nationals for winged sprint cars. I'm Steve Evans, along with Brock Yates and Gary Gerald. And that is Jeff Swindell and crew hurrying from their pit spot to get out onto the grid for the lineup of the C-Main. Now, Swindell and number 8, Doug Wolfgang, are the only two teams that really have to hurry. You see a late-minute wing adjustment on Swindell's car. Apparently, everything buttoned up as well for Doug Wolfgang as they move out. Boy, the pressure on the crews here, Brock, as well as the driver now.
Enormous. They have very little time between these big, long races. There's an obvious endorsement for their man, Doug Wolfgang, the number 8. They dearly love him here. He's won 5 times. And now let's go to Gary Gerald in Wolfgang's pit.
So veteran chief mechanic Gary Deuce Terrell has made the changes now for Wolfgang, but obviously the challenge becomes much more difficult. Ahead of him now in this C-Main event, drivers like Jimmy Sills. You've got Keith Kaufman. You've got Jim Bell, who's been an earlier winner this week at Knoxville, in a field that's very, very strong. For Wolfgang to come from the back and to get one of the 2 transfers available is the immediate challenge, but he's been the king of the spectacular for years here at Knoxville. Let's see what happens.
Well, if he can win here, he will equal this man's record. 6-time winner, Steve Kinzer. They're talking to a fan. He'll be ready for the A-Main, along with his uncle, Carl Kinzer, who has also been in victory lane 6 times. Been the crew chief on Steve's car, all 6 victories. But that's not all Steve's done around here. Earlier, our Steve had a look at this.
Well, it might appear that outlaw king Steve Kinzer is finally in jail, where a lot of drivers think he belongs. Now, that's the dunk tank here at the Marion County Fairgrounds. 3 balls for $1, all proceeds to charity. Usually it's other drivers or fans of other drivers trying to dunk Steve. Not so. Wife Dana and son Kurt are paying to dunk husband and father. And I'll tell you, Steve has been in the water a lot here. Can you hit it? Can you put him in the water, Dana?
I don't know.
You couldn't hit the side of a barn.
Well, let's find out.
Okay, let's find out.
Oh, first time out of the box. Steve Kinzer is in the drink. You know, Steve, it's one thing other drivers or fans, but your own wife.
Oh, well, I don't know what to say. I tell you what, I think she made a lucky shot there, first one.
Oh, you think so? Well, she's on the mound again.
Well, everybody had a terrific time here. All the proceeds for this went to the World of Outlaws Benevolent Fund, as Dana almost drilled him a second time. Got a great arm on that lady, but I'll tell you what, this even worked better.
In fact, foolproof. What a great time. All right, the C-Main is shaping up, and Brock, there's some good talent in this one. On the outside of the 3rd row from California, the 49 car of Jimmy Sills. Inside of the 4th row is the number 20 car of Keith Kaufman, Lee Brewer Jr. This is no cakewalk for Doug Wolfgang or Jeff Swindell.
No, it absolutely isn't. Wolfgang starting just 1 row ahead of Swindell. Swindell in the absolute scratch position, way in the back row. Doug Wolfgang a little bit better off. He's on the inside of the 10th row. But as you said, Steve, with guys like Kaufman and Sills and Lee Brewer Jr., this is going to be a very, very difficult fight for him. And as we knew, as these races progressed, obviously you move into more and more talented and more stronger automobiles. So the job gets more and more difficult for both Wolfgang and Swindell.
And both of them have to adopt a more aggressive style of driving than we saw in the D main. They have to if they're to move up. Oh boy, only 2 transfer here. Bear that in mind.
The only advantage that they might have is that the event is 15 laps long, 3 laps longer than the earlier one, so they got a little bit more opportunity, a mile and a half for that matter, to move up among the contenders.
This crowd is absolutely silent now, Brock. They were cheering before. Now they want to see the start of the C-main, and they have got it. Wolfgang at the back got a horrible start. Leading him into turn number 1 is Bill out of the blue car, 12X. Jeff Swindell got around Doug Wolfgang. Swindell has passed Wolfgang. I told you he got a bad start.
Yeah, he did. He fell way back. I don't know what happened, whether the car is off song, as they say, or whether he just didn't get on the throttle quickly enough. But Jeff Swindell did, in fact, in that blue 4A, riding up high there, is ahead of Doug Wolfgang. Okay, the Wolf recovers somewhat. He gets by the black 3Y of Danny Young and the yellow 68G of Ricky Galt for 17. Now begins to move on the 8H of Butch Hansen for 16th place. But then he seems to fall back a little bit in turn number 2. Balked a bit, got him way up high as Jeff Swindell continues to move on.
You know, I think Wolfgang realized he got a bad start, then he started to overcompensate, and now he mentally has reined himself in just a little bit. Something I think he felt he just had to do. Now, Jeff Swindell, the blue 4A car, he has gone way up high, and all of a sudden the Wolfgang abandoned the high line. They've come down low, and it's working for him.
Absolutely, as we watch Wolfgang move in on 1HT, Billy Turner for 13th place. Okay, continues to move. Next to fall, the 92 automobile of Taylor Weld in the 14th car, the yellow automobile of Randy Martin for 11th. But look, Swindell seems to be clogged up there. He's trying to get around the 14th car, can't seem to move, and that breaks Doug Wolfgang free. He's got an open racetrack right now.
And he is closing on the 5C car of Mal Lane. If he gets by Mal, that will put him in the 10th position. But as he moves through this field, they just get harder and harder to pass. And for Jeff Swindell there in the blue 4A car, as everybody is moving out of the Wolf's way, they build a wall in front of him. Swindell now running 13th, but there's the orange number 8 car challenging Mal Lane for that 10th position, and he has got it. Doug Wolfgang in 10th, and now he is closing on Rick Haas. The 99Z car gets him on the outside.
So, he is suddenly in the top 10 and charging.
In fact, he's in 9th position, and the Wolf again alters his tactics. He goes back up high again, at least high in 3 and 4, and maybe a little lower in 1 and 2. But just when it appears he can't catch somebody, he just starts right by them. He received the interval back to Jeff Swindell right there in the blue car in the 13th spot.
And there he challenges the 92 car Taylor Weld for the 12th spot. Taylor Weld, though, fights him back down the back straightaway, but Swindell on that low side pulls it off. But Taylor Weld, he's sideways down the front straightaway on the last two laps, Steve.
Well, Jeff also blew right by 9Z Rich Haas, so he is now in the 10th position. And there is the car owner for Doug Wolfgang, one of the co-owners, Ray Williams, and he is a nervous guy. Who wouldn't be? When you consider your driver in the orange number 8 car is challenging Jimmy Sills for the 6th position, and has got to move up all the way to 2nd if he's going to race any more tonight, and there's not that many laps left. They could use a yellow flag, as they said.
They sure could, but Sills, one of the best guys in the business, is not giving up easily, but finally the Wolf moves underneath him as they come off turn number 2 to take over that 6th spot. The racetrack is pretty much wide open now, so Wolfgang has got pretty well clear of those big bunches in traffic. He heads down the front straightaway to challenge the 1M automobile of Pat Moore for 5th position. Down the back straightaway, down low. The Wolf likes that low groove through 3 and 4 right now. That's working well for him.
Keith Coppin is challenging for the lead in the black 20 car, and there he dives underneath Billy Billhauer to take the lead, and Wolfgang is sweeping by 4th. Now 3rd. Wolfgang is in the 3rd spot behind Billhauer.
Wolfgang made a fantastic pass on the high side there between turns 1 and 2. And begins the last lap, begins to challenge Villauer.
He must get that blue 12X car. He must get it. The fans here have gone wild. Side by side with Villauer. Villauer pitches it high. Villauer pitches it sideways and stalls the automobile. And there is a caution flag as Doug Wolfgang has moved into the second spot behind the 20 car of Keith Kaufman. Billy Villauer just overdrove it a step, Brock.
He sure did. And now, as the field reforms, Doug Wolfgang will restart on the Nerf bar of the leader, Keith Kaufman, and has an opportunity now to win this race. He is, if he holds his position, assured of a start in the B main. And you can also be sure that his crew chief, Deuce Turrell, is sure of more work tonight. So already they're talking about changes that they're going to make between the C and the B main. Stick with us. We'll be back for the restart at Knoxville.
Love classics? Now you can win one in Road Test Magazine's $35,000 sports car sweepstakes. Call now or write to win the Sebring MX, Classic Roadster's reproduction of the legendary Austin Healey 3000. It's loaded with leather bucket seats, removable top, real wood dash, superior wheels with Pirelli tires, a 350 horsepower RHS Magnum Chevy V8, and B&M transmission. No purchase necessary. Call as often as you like. One phone call, and the $35,000 Sebring MX could be yours.
You're living right, you're thinking light. Go fish!
Long John Silver's baked whitefish. It's a lighter way to go. So get ready, get set.
Go fish! Long John Silver's.
You may have already heard about 1-900-FUN on TNN. You may have even been one of the thousands of callers who have dialed in to play our country music trivia game, or to join a fan club, or to enter one of our TNN sweepstakes for a chance to win valuable prizes. If you haven't already called 1-900-FUN on TNN, you might want to try it now. If you have, maybe it's time you call again. Each call costs 95 cents per minute.
Hello, I'm Lori Ann Crook.
I'm Charlie Chase. This week on Crook and Chase, Rodney Crowell joins us live.
And Glenn Campbell is caught in our celebrity spotlight. It's all this week.
Crook and Chase, weeknights on TNN.
Saturday, Joel Sonnier duets with Ray Benson from Asleep at the Wheel on the American Music Shop. Then, on the Texas Connection, award-winning songwriter Clay Blaker, the American Music Shop, and the Texas Connection. Saturday starting at 10 Eastern on TNN, the Nashville Network.
Well, the C feature is still under caution here at the NAPA Knoxville Nationals. Gave this big crowd a chance to take a deep breath, along with 3 television reporters who got pretty darn excited watching Doug Wolfgang on that last lap. In fact, let's have another look at it. Wolfgang was challenging Billy Villauer for the second spot. Villauer gets it up into the center of the racetrack where they say it's a little bit slick. He found out they weren't lying. Gets it dead sideways, cannot correct quite enough, and Wolfgang sneaks in down under. And at this point, he saw the caution flag out because of Villauer's spin. So we'll have one lap around to the white flag and then one more to the checkered. Can Wolfgang hang on to second? Better yet, Brock Yates will he even try to pass Keith Kaufman. If you were the Wolf, would you do that?
I'm sure he will do it for a bunch of reasons. One, he's a very competitive man, and there is no such thing as second place for him. Secondly, though, it'll give him a better starting position in the B main. So the farther he moves up this ladder, the better off he is. So Keith Kaufman, though, is no easy pickings. This man is one of the very best. Now, remember now, Jeff Swindell is buried back in 7th place, and unless he undergoes some sort of a miracle here, he is finished for the night. Tough break for Jeff Swindell, and he has had his share of problems all week.
All right, everybody watching the front runners, the black 20 car, the orange 8 car of Doug Wolfgang, as we are underway. Only 2 laps here to finish off the C main. Wolfgang again did not get a very good restart. That's 2 in a row, Brock. I don't know if the car hesitates or maybe he's got a real high gear in it. Who knows?
Well, it's hard to say. away, but unless Keith Kaufman bobbles, which is highly unlikely for an experienced pro like him, he is going to have to settle. That is Doug Wolfgang settle for second place.
And let's unfortunately say goodbye to 4A, the blue car of Jeff Swindell. We'll see no more action this evening, not back where he is in this pack. But up front, there is Keith Kaufman, there is Doug Wolfgang, and that apparently is how it's going to stay. Yes, the checkered flag is out. Well, Wolfgang has done it again. Car owner Williams ecstatic about it. There is Jeff Swindell crossing the line. The impossible dream was indeed impossible. He ends up 5th in the C-Main. And there goes the Wolf back to the infield. And waiting for him will be Deuce and the guys, wrenches in hand, new rubber certainly for the right rear, maybe some wing adjustments, whatever it takes. In just a few magic minutes will happen down in that pit area. Doug Wolfgang and Keith Kaufman, the only two that really matter here out of the C-Main, as they will tag on to the back of the B. Here's how they finish, 6th through 10th. For these drivers, it'll be next year's Knoxville Nationals. Brock is with the C-Main winner.
Well, Keith Kaufman has barely time to catch his breath and jump back in the race cars. What'd you tell the guys? What are they going to do now, Keith?
Well, the track changed a lot since we've been out during hot laps, and, you know, we got to do a few little things to the car to try to make it a little bit faster, tighten it up a little bit.
Tighten it up? Okay. That's pretty much expected right now.
Well, yeah, track goes away as the night goes on, and we were good, but not good enough.
Good job anyway. Super race.
Thank you.
Okay. Gary?
I don't know if you get excited about these things, but you sure got us excited. That was a sensational run.
Thank you, but it ain't over yet. Now the toughest race of the night for me, because my goal is to get to the A-Main, and whatever I do in the A-Main will be fine, but this will be the toughest. Getting closer to faster cars. I couldn't even really catch Keith Kaufman there, so we're going to have to pull something out of the bag to make it faster, so.
Got any ideas what it may be that comes out of that bag?
No, but I'm going to think about it while I put cover-ups on.
We can hardly wait.
Thank you.
So the Wolf continues, but Just Swindell, he's run out of luck.
You had 2 engine explosions. You haven't had that all year long.
No, really hadn't. I mean, this deal here, we just took it on about 2 weeks ago, and everything that we got was pretty much in an up and down situation. We didn't know where it was and didn't know what ran and what didn't ran, and you know, we lost the one motor 2 weeks or a week and a half ago, and then the other one the other night, I don't know what happened to it. It just died on me. I think the mag crapped out on it, but this one here seems to run pretty good. I mean, we just made a bad choice. We should have had this thing in from the word go, and then maybe we'd be sitting up in the first few rows of the feature, but it's racing. What are you going to do? You know, go to the next one and try to win the next one.
You don't let it get you down.
No, you can't. You know, it's all over with if you do, so you just got to keep struggling.
Thanks.
All right, Just Swindell loading up and heading to the next race, but Doug Wolfgang, he is loading up on adrenaline. He is in the B-Main, and he told Gary it's the toughest race of the night for him.
Sweet dreams of you.
Her beautiful voice is unforgettable.
Every night.
A legend for all time. Patsy Cline.
I know that someday.
Now, Heartland Music presents Patsy Cline in a special 2-record treasury.
The only thing different, the only thing new.
Patsy was one of a kind.
I've got your picture.
There's never been a voice so pure.
She's got you.
And honest.
Crazy. I'm crazy for feeling so lonely. You walk by and I fall to pieces. I go out walking after midnight.
Every song is a classic.
I love you so.
It's the most complete Patsy Cline collection ever.
Have you ever been lonely?
This special treasury is not sold in stores. Please stay tuned to order.
Your cheating heart.
To
or call toll-free 1-800-522-7600 to save all COD charges and pay only $12.98 for records or cassettes or $16.98 for compact disc, plus $3 shipping. Use your credit card or send check or money order to Patsy Cline, P.O. Box 94040, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Remember to save all COD charges, send check or money order, or use your credit card.
We're back at the Knoxville Nationals, where the start of the B main is just a few minutes away. And you know you got a good story when a guy like Gary Gerald rides it all night. Let's visit Gary once again in Wolfgang's pits.
Well, Steve, obviously the job gets more difficult now for Doug Wolfgang. He was spectacular in that C main, but there are 21 drivers who'll start in front of him in the B. But a couple of things to keep in mind. This race is 7 laps longer, so he's got a little more time. Also, there are 4 transfer positions into the Knoxville Nationals finals. He may need every one of those spots. He may also need a yellow to try to work his way up through the traffic, because when you look at this field, names that jump out: Joey Kuhn, Max Dumsey, Jerry Richard, Kenny Jacobs, Jack Haudenschild, Mike Brooks, Rocky Hodges. You go right down the line, every one of them a tough open-wheel sprint car driver. Wolfgang is up to the challenge. We're about to find out if he can do it again. Steve?
And guys, in the Doug is starting in the last row. He's using a lot of the cover-ups, which are just layers of goggle material on top of the shield, so that it gets covered with mud. He can just keep peeling them off, hoping for some visibility.
You'll often see him flying into the air as these cars come down the front straightaway. As the drivers, we usually call them tearaways, but he calls them cover-ups, and whatever the Wolf wants to call them, we'll agree. Kenny Jacobs, one of the good runners in the 4th row. Jack Haudenschild in the 5th row. Kevin Doty and Mike Brooks, good runners in the row 6. Row 7, Johnny Herrera from New Mexico. Rocky Hodges, a local favorite. Excellent drivers. Ricky Stenhouse, Tommy Scott, we saw him run earlier. Row 9, Todd Bishop and Tim Monson. They finished well to get into this race. Dan Hamilton and Keith Kaufman. Remember, we just saw him win. And in row 11, starting 21st, Doug Wolfgang. Pat Moore made it because Scooter Lambert dropped out, and Pat Moore finished 3rd in the C main, moves into the B main.
Well, Wolfgang called it his toughest race of the night, and you certainly couldn't disagree looking at the lineup as they thunder down to turn number 1. Green flag is out. The B main at the Knoxville National. Oh, and there's trouble in back of the pack. 1, 2, 3 cars involved.
A big crash, 3 of them. That's Pat Moore in the 1M who flipped, and we have a red flag. Kevin Doty in the 7L, 77 Mike Brooks, and 1M Pat Moore. That is Pat Moore's automobile, upside down. Took a pretty good roll. He's a young man from Illinois. Fine young driver. First time here, and did very well up until this moment, until those 3 guys tangled going into turn number 1 on the opening lap.
I tell you, this had to be a little deja vu for Doug Wolfgang. The last thing he needed to see was a crash in front of him, like he was involved in last Thursday night.
He almost got tagged. There you see the Wolf in that orange number 8. As we watch those 2 automobiles come down, Pat Moore nicked the Wolf and then rolled up into the number 7L Kevin Doty, who is, by the way, no relation to the very popular former sprint car driver, Brad Doty.
And from another angle, Brock, I think we can see just how close number 8, the orange car, Doug Wolfgang, came to becoming involved in this. Just a matter of a few inches kept the Wolf on the right track. Let's go down onto the dirt. Gary.
Walking away and pulling off the helmet, obviously disappointed Kevin Doty. You appear to be okay. Can you tell us what happened, Kevin?
Well, I'm fine. Just the 77 car, Mike Brooks, just cut right down in front of me and probably blew the left or the right front tire, and the car just went straight into the wall.
It's got to be a major disappointment when you come to Knoxville with all the hype, all the money, all the prestige that's on the line, and to have it end like this.
Well, it really is a shame. You know, guys try and win the race on the first lap. And Knoxville's really a great deal. I wish I could have been in the A.
Maybe next year, huh?
Maybe, hopefully.
Kevin Doty is out of this one.
Well, that man is certainly down, but the crowd is certainly up for 2 reasons. All of the drivers in this crash were A-OK, and Doug Wolfgang got through the melee. But did he? Now, he was grazed just a little bit right there. As durable as these cars are, probably no harm, but you just never can tell. A few degrees of misalignment in the rear end can be a bad deal. Brock?
I'm with 23-year-old Patrick Moore, who was mixed up in that thing. First of all, you're okay, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, I'm all right. Just kind of disappointed.
Of course. How did it all transpire?
I don't know. I came in there. I started last, so I didn't push it real hard in the corner. I was just kind of taking it easy, and there was somebody upside down in front of me, and I just got on the brakes and ran in the back of Wolfgang and locked her up, and there was nothing I could do. I just trying to avoid it.
But obviously a disappointment, but you went a long way in this first time at the Nationals, so you got to feel good about that. A bad ending, but up to this point, good work.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, congratulations.
Thanks.
Okay, Pat Moore of good spirits, considering he's got an awful lot of work to do in a wrecked car. Let's go to Gary Gerald.
And the third driver involved is Mike Brooks. And Mike, a lot of years racing at Knoxville and other tracks, but it's never a comfortable moment when you end up in the middle of one of these. Can you tell us what happened?
I don't know. Somebody hit me. Went over our left rear wheel and tore the bird cage and stuff up. Don't know where he come from. It's come from behind us, but he just ran over us. That's all there is. Put us out.
How tough is it to put something like this behind you and now look ahead to whatever the next race may be?
Oh, when you're my age, it's not very tough. These things happen. It hasn't been our week, and we was out hot lapping and had a guy pull right from her. He bent the right rear bird cage, so we probably weren't very set to race anyway. We had some problems, but we were going to try it. So we're out, but there's always next week. It's not, I like this race. You know, it's a big race, a big event. We wanted to really do well. We've been running pretty good the last couple of weeks, but this wasn't our night.
Thank you, Mike. Steve?
Well, the field right now is laying quietly down in turn number 4. The push trucks are a mess. When the restart call goes out, they'll go into action. Doug Wolfgang at least now has 2 fewer drivers to pass. I'm sure he'd rather have seen those guys continue in that B main. In the pits, well, 1A, Bobby Allen, Scruffy. He's sitting there, his crew, contemplating the A main to come tonight. Of course, that field will be complete when we finish off the race in progress. We'll be back to Knoxville. Stay with us.
The year was 1957. Ike was in the White House, and America was enjoying itself. We swooned over Elvis and rocked around the clock. Fast food and fast cars were the new entertainment, and the 57 Chevrolet Bel Air became America's dream machine. Recognized as a classic, the 57 Chevy remains one of America's most sought-after cars. No automobile in history more perfectly represented the wild, carefree spirit of its time. And now, the Danbury Mint has recaptured that spirit in this meticulously engineered die-cast metal replica of the 1957 Chevy Bel Air convertible. Truly a legend you can hold in your hands, this exquisite replica is a masterpiece of craftsmanship. Its body, chassis, drivetrain, and engine block are all crafted in heavy die-cast metal. The body hand-sanded and painted, oven-baked, buffed, then painted and baked again. More than 150 parts are inspected, then hand-assembled. When completed, it's hand-waxed and inspected once more before delivery. Meticulous in every detail, doors open and close. The hood lifts, revealing its history-making 283 cubic inch V8. Why, even turn the steering wheel and the front wheels respond. Perfect in every detail, from its golden grille and headlamp eyebrows to its sweeping tail fins and backup lights. From the undercarriage, more authentic detail, right down to the spare tire well. This extraordinary replica is available exclusively from the Danbury Mint and is not sold in stores, yet it is priced well below what you'd expect to pay for a replica of this superb quality. So use your credit card and call this toll-free number now. We'll send you your car and charge your account just $29.50 a month plus shipping for 3 months. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call now to bring back those precious memories with your replica of the 57 Chevy Bel Air convertible, the car that personifies that free spirit of the 50s.
Call now. The number is 1-800-767-1300. That's 1-800-767-1300.
Well, that is brilliant news, Stevie Smith. He is ready to go in the A main. He will start third in that field of 24 automobiles. 20 of those cars are already assured of a starting spot, Steve Evans, but we've got 4 more to enter that field, and they will be decided in B main, which is currently getting back underway after that red flag incident on lap number 1.
For Stevie Smith, this is the biggest shot he has had in his still very young sprint car career. To start third in the Knoxville Nationals and have a truly legitimate shot at it, that'll be something. Well, this crowd will have to wait just a while for that to unfold, because now we've got the B main. Can we get a good green lap underway?
Well, let's see. We've got a good one up front. 2K, Joey Kuhn out of Pennsylvania, is on the pole, and he will lead him down off turn number 4 for Doug Clark. Green flag. We've got to start.
Absolutely, and it is 2K, Joey Kuhn taking the lead as he swings out of turn number 2. And Doug Wolfgang, orange number 8, got a much better restart that time. Already in 14th and moving.
So he's picking his way through the field on that low side. That seems to be the tactic that works best for Wolf in these opening laps when he is working. Now he's up high. Did you see all those tearaways? That silvery stuff, those are guys ripping those tearaways off to keep them out of there. Look at the Wolf down low as he moves in on the 6 of Ricky Stenhouse. Up high, the number 3H of Rocky Hodges also in the fight. And Rocky gets it really almost up against the fence as he goes high into 1.
Well, Wolfgang nailed Ricky Stenhouse. He is now running in the 11th spot and hungry for more. The roar of the crowd as loud as the engines here in Knoxville.
The next target for Wolfgang is the 1W of Kenny Jacobs. He's underneath them. The 21 car, the orange and blue automobile of Steve Meitler. He is his next potential victim as the Wolf moves in on 9th place.
But right up front, it's 2K, Joey Kuhn in the lead. The Aussie, Max Dempsey, 1K, the black car, in the 2nd spot, and they're quite a ways ahead of Doug Wolfgang. And the Wolf has got a place 4th or better. There he is. He is just kind of cruising there. He's got nobody to attack, Brock.
Well, I don't think he's cruising exactly. I think he's got the pedal to the metal. He'll run this racetrack flat out now when he doesn't have any traffic, and that's a very, very difficult accomplishment indeed.
All right, the red car, the 32U car from Albuquerque, that's Johnny Herrera. Johnny is in the 8th spot. Doug Wolfgang on the attack. Wolfgang going down low, trying to find some traction to get around Herrera. Herrera staves him off, but can he do it on the other end of the racetrack? He did, and he didn't. Wolfgang got around him, and the game New Mexican came back. Now, Wolfgang again trying to push Herrera down into the 9th spot, and this time he may well make it stick. No, he still can't do it. Herrera frustrating Wolfgang. In the lights, you can see all of those tearaways blowing in the breeze.
Oh, now Herrera's pulled out about a 10-car length lead on Wolfgang. This is getting serious. Remember now, he's got to be in the top 4 to advance into the A main. And right now, Johnny Herrera is doing a magnificent job of holding off Doug Wolfgang.
And suddenly they both approach and pass the 5L car, the black car of John Cottontail. That puts Wolfgang in the 8th spot, Johnny Herrera 7th.
So both of them continue to move, and Herrera suddenly saw the Wolf beside him and really hammered it. He's moving really well now, and suddenly the Wolf does not seem to be able to get the kind of hookup that he had earlier. Now he's on the outside, trying Herrera on the outside through 3 and 4. Can he make it work? The Wolf will take 7th place from Johnny Herrera, but Herrera's right back at him. Terrific run by Johnny Herrera in the red 32.
They are darting all over this racetrack, and the Wolf has overtaken number 19, Bob Weedy, for the 6th spot. He only needs to move up 2 more positions to go to the A main.
Masterful piece of driving there in traffic, which held up Herrera for a moment and got the Wolf through. Terrific work.
And now the Wolf is in the 5th spot as we are halfway through the B main here in Knoxville, Iowa. The crowd is just, well, they've yelled themselves hoarse.
Terrific race between these 3 guys, and believe me, Weeby and Herrera are not giving up.
Well, no one is giving up, including up at the front of the pack. And here is a challenge for the lead on the inside by Jerry Richard Jr., the 81 car, and he cannot quite put away 2K Joey Kuhn. Kuhn hangs off, and Kuhn goes high, maybe too high. Richard comes down underneath, and we have a new leader of the B main.
So Jerry Richard Jr., a fine young driver, is on his way, hopefully, to victory here as the Wolf continues to move. He has a clear racetrack. He is sitting in 5th position. Up ahead of him is Max Dunsney, but he is now able to choose his line. He doesn't have to dive low, get up on the cushion. He can run exactly where he wants to with a clear racetrack. And we've got some smoke from Dunsney up ahead, Steve. This could be slowing him down.
Well, that'd be a welcome sight to Doug Wolfgang at this point in time. He'd take about anything that would give him one more position forward, because if he could hold on to fourth, he would go to the A main. And this crowd just willing the number 8 car through. He has passed the smoking Gumpy. He is on 2K Joey Kuhn for the 3rd position. Kuhn on the inside. Wolfgang on the outside with a wheel on him as they go into turn number 3. Dumpsney smokes in the camera. Whoopi smokes off Joey Kuhn and takes over the 3rd spot.
Down the back straightaway, around the 57 automobile of Dan Hamilton, a lap car. He gives him plenty of room. The Wolf is being very, very careful now. One miscue and he's out of the A main, but he is still on the move, and I would imagine Steve Evans, he has victory in his sights right now. He is thinking about that.
You know, but if you'd have told Wolfgang before the start of this B main, you have a chance to win this without any yellow flag, he wouldn't have believed you. He didn't even have that much confidence in himself.
Well, he said it was going to be the toughest race of the night for him, and so far, though, it's working out beautifully for him.
He is closing in on second place, the orange 3G car of Greg Hodnick. Wolfgang down low, didn't have it there, backed off. Now he just stabs him into turn number 3, and Wolfgang has taken over 2nd spot.
So the Wolf cautious there, took his time to get around Hodnick. Didn't show some of the customary aggressiveness, although right ahead of him is the blue 81 of Jerry Richard Jr., and Wolf is moving in on him. Up high, off turn number 4, down the front straightaway. There's the blue automobile of Richard. There is the Wolf, the orange number 8, up high, down the back straightaway. Up along the outside of Richard.
And Wolf's experience here on this Knoxville dirt is paying off for him right now. No one knows it better than he does. There is the white flag as Doug Wolfgang has taken the lead in the B main.
Down the back straightaway, the fans, everybody in this place, 20,000 on their feet, cheering this man home.
A driving performance that no one who witnessed it will ever forget. Doug Wolfgang goes to the A. The crowd, the owners have come to serve, but they better get things together. They only have a very few minutes to prepare for what now will be the toughest race Doug Wolfgang will have all night.
Unbelievable. We described what he had to do earlier in the show, and he has done it up until now. Now the crew, hard at work. Tire changes, they'll top off the fuel tank. Doug Wolfgang will barely have a chance to get out and just change some tearaways on the helmet and bolt himself back in, because we're going to be ready to go with the A main. Doug Wolfgang, Jerry Richard Jr., Greg Hodnick, Johnny Herrera, and Joey Kuhn run very well in that top 5. Excellent drive by all of those men. Bob Wiebe, Keith Kaufman had a tough run of luck in this race. Jack Hodenschild, Tuttle, and Stenhouse round out the top 10.
All right, let's go right now down to one of the most amazing race drivers we have ever seen. Gary Gerald?
I'll tell you what, I've been fortunate to be around a lot of great race performances over the years, but I gotta confess, I'm as excited as I've ever been at a sprint car race. I don't know how you feel right now. You hear the crowd. What a terrific run, Doug.
I think we're about done now. We're running red hot now. I don't know what it is. The motor ain't hot. The cockpit's generating a lot of heat. It must be about 300 degrees inside.
How much time do you need to get it cooled down?
I don't know. My feet are even hot. So we'll just have to see. I'm tired and my neck's sore from the other night.
Any way you cut it, it's been a fantastic performance, and we're just going to sit back and hope that maybe we'll get a chance to watch you go to work once again.
Well, if we got enough steam left, it's starting to slow down. We'll just have to see what happens. Well, I'm starting to slow down. My neck's getting heavy.
I guarantee you he'll be ready by the time the green flag falls in the main event.
Brock Yates?
I'm with Jerry Richard Jr., who did a super job. The Wolf was real strong, but otherwise you ran real good, and you're moving out of the A main, and the guys are thrashing on the car, not a whole lot of time, but you got to feel good about it.
Yeah, we really do. We were looking forward to winning that. We got caught behind a lap car there. Who else but Doug came along? You know he's going to be strong in a deal like this. He come from a long ways back. He did a hell of a job.
I would imagine, though, when you start, you had a real good race, and at the end, you're starting to think about those 4 transfer spots more importantly, really, than a victory. That's every bit as important, certainly, as a win.
Well, between that and the track started going away, our car was really set up nice to begin with, and the track started going away. We were a little bit off for that. We'll make some adjustments. Hopefully, we'll move up through the main.
We're looking forward to it. Good job, Jerry.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay.
good, solid performance by Jerry Richard Jr. And I'll tell you, Doug Wolfgang needs a solid performance from his crew. They have got to find out what in that orange number 8 car is giving him a hot foot. Well, hot feet, actually. Doug Wolfgang needs every single plus in his side of the ledger if he's to do well in the A-Main coming up. The single most prestigious race for sprint cars in the course of the season. Stay with us from Knoxville.
Well, I've got a couple of most memorable nights. I got to sing with George Jones one night. He called me back out after we'd opened the show, and we sang Me and Jesus Got Our Own Thing Going. And then one night I was invited to sing with Delbert McClinton. I think that was probably my most thrilling moment on stage. Well, what TNN means to me personally, in a very selfish way, is they've promoted my career. I think I've reached millions of people that I couldn't ordinarily have reached by touring.
Some tools, like this hard-to-handle front tine tiller, make gardening too much work for too little reward. Fortunately, there's a far better, easier way to garden with the Rear Tines Powered Wheels Troy-Built Tiller. The Troy-Built easily turns the hardest soil into a deep, loose, ready-to-plant seedbed. It quickly cultivates between rows to eliminate most hand weeding and effortlessly tills under crop residues and organic matter to turn even poor soil into dark, rich loam. And the Troy-Built is so easy to operate, you can guide it with just one hand. So put the joy back into your gardening with a Troy-Built tiller. For your free copy of this Troy-Built Great Gardens catalog, filled with gardening tips and details on Troy-Built models for small and large gardens, call toll-free 1-800-828-6363 right away. There's no obligation and no cost to you. Call 1-800-828-6363 now. Operators are standing by.
They're lined up, 4x4. The traditional wing sprint cars start. 24 of the finest drivers in the world on this great, perfectly prepared half-mile track. And the crowd, the wave for this field of drivers as they come down the front straightaway. Steve Evans, one of the most exciting moments in all of automobile racing.
Absolutely. The racers salute the crowd with the four-abreast formation, and the crowd salutes them right back with the wave. And here, moments ago, was the scene as the orange number 8 car of Doug Wolfgang was wheeled away from his pit. The good news is they found the overheating and the hot foot problem. It was traced to a small oil leak that was easily fixed. That car is fit and ready to go. It will start toward the back. In fact, the next to the last row on the inside will be Wolfgang. Up front, though, Brock, is where we can expect the action here in the A-Main. That's really where most of it should be. It's a Sprint Car Hall of Fame.
Well, the deck is stacked for the Kinzer family. Steve, the winningest sprint car driver of them all in modern times, his cousin Mark Kinzer on the front row. Stevie Smith from Pennsylvania. Bobby Allen, another Pennsylvania, in the second row. Bobby Davis Jr. and Sammy Swindell, two of the Memphis gang, in the third row. Joe Garrity and Danny Lasowski, two fine young drivers. Lasowski, track champion here in the next row. Ronnie Daniels, Andy Hillenberg in the fifth row. Tommy Estes Jr., Chris Eaton from Maryland. Then it goes on and on and on. Dave Blaney in the 7C. Never count him out, a hard driver. Row 8, Donnie Kreitz Jr. from Sinking Springs, Pennsylvania. Danny Smith from Indiana. Ricky Hood, Mike Peters in the 9th row. Randy Smith, an excellent driver. Shane Carson, back in the $12 sign from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And row 11, Doug Wolfgang. Remember him, Steve Evans.
Oh, who can forget the Wolf after a night like this? The young fans at home looking for a driver to root for. How about Stevie Smith Jr. in that 77 car? They are underway. The biggest race of the year in sprint car racing is happening.
30 laps on the half mile in Knoxville. A ton of money and a ton of prestige up for grabs.
Steve Kinzer has problems. Martin Kinzer leads, but Steve suddenly fell back, almost like the car jumped out of gear, like there was no power to the rear wheel. And look at the Wolf coming up through the back. The Wolf on the outside, giving it everything he's got. He is right now closing on 1X Ronnie Daniels for the 11th spot.
Well, what about Steve Kinzer? That's what everybody is wondering. He was on the pole. He has had a perfect week of racing here, and suddenly on the opening lap, he falls back. He's sitting in 9th place now. That is the 10 car of Bobby Davis Jr., but the 11, that famous white 11, work his way back through the field. A dramatic change of events here that has altered their entire complexion of this race.
Just incredible. The Kinzer family are just stunned by this. All right, for the 8th position, we're looking at 1X, Ronnie Daniels, 17E, Chris S., and 11, Steve Kinzer.
A massive struggle for that spot. Right behind them is Hillenberg, then Terry Gray. And bringing up the rear is Doug Wolfgang. In fact, he's moving in on Steve Kinzer in the white 11. Only one car, the green number 3, and Terry Gray is between them. There is Kinzer, there is Gray, and the Wolf on the outside, riding high, trying to get around both of them.
But Steve Kinzer mounting a bit of a comeback of his own as he's challenging 17E Chris Each and 7 Andy Hillenberg, and he is going to repass them.
Well, suddenly Steve Kinzer seems to be back in form after some really shocking developments here, and now is on the move again. But he's got a long, long way to make up.
And he's also got a cousin up front who's upholding the family tradition. Leading this thing is Mark.
So for 10th place, we got a real wrestling match between Chris East, Terry Gray, Wolfgang, Donnie Crutch Jr. moved in there, as has Andy Hillenberg. All 5 of those automobiles packed together in a struggle for that position.
And Ronnie Daniels, the 1X car, has lost that 8th spot to the number 11 car of Steve Kinzer, trying to play comeback. And here back in 10th is number 3, Terry Gray. There's the Wolf in the orange, number 8, followed by 17E Chris East.
Okay, back to Steve Kinzer, the 11 automobile, down low, moving in on the 56, the white 56 of Danny Smith in a battle for the 7th spot. Kinzer relentless now. There is none better than Wolfgang and Kinzer when they are in the back of the field, trying to move ahead. Both of them have the bit in their teeth.
All right, and here is for the 7th spot. Kinzer's got 7th spot, and he took it away from Danny Smith in the number 56 car. Now, back up front, here's your leader, 5M, the blue and white car of Mark Kinzer. Behind him in the 2nd spot, 1A, scrubby Bobby Allen. He has lapped Tommy Estes Jr. He has lapped 29M Mike Peters, and he is trying to lap $12 sign Shane Garson. That's your leader, Mark Kinzer.
Well, virtually everybody in this place expected that this would be a duel between Mark and Steve Kinzer in this stage of the race. But, of course, his cousin is way back, surprisingly enough, and is very much an underdog to repeat here at Knoxville. But there is a man who still charges, still hoping for win number 6. That is Doug Wolfgang riding high off turn number 4, down the front straightaway. He is closing in on Steve Kinzer. There's your leader, Mark Kinzer in the 5, the blue and white number 5 through turn number 3. And here's your race for 2nd. Bobby Allen in the 1A and the black number 1 of Sammy Swindell.
You know, we get a report. In fact, that we didn't see it smoke out of Swindell's motor. And we understand that Steve Kinzer will be pitting. Let's see if that's true if the 11th car comes in. Smoke out of Swindell. Kinzer possibly pitting. There is incredible action here in this 30-lap A-main of the Knoxville Nationals. Clearly, you can see the smoke on the straightaway out of Swindell's car. It doesn't see the smoke in the turn. And as we're watching Sammy Swindell, we can tell you Steve Kinzer is in the pits, engine shut off, and out of the car.
So Sammy Swindell continues to ride the high side. Well, Bobby Allen in the 1A sits down low. He loves that low groove. Bobby Allen seldom goes up high. It works for him all the time. Whereas Sammy, well, he'll try anything. He'll ride up on top of the fence if he has to get around somebody. But right now, Bobby Allen is holding him off, and the smoke continues to percolate out of the right side of that engine in Sammy Swindell's automobile. Whether it's a breather, a loose oil line, whatever it is, it doesn't seem to bother him down the straight, Steve, in certain parts of the racetrack. Then all of a sudden we'll get a big puff of smoke, especially as he seems to go down the front straightaway.
That's right, but how long before, with a leak like that, you consume the oil pressure goes to 0, and you blow the motor up. All right, here is Doug Wolfgang. He is now in the 8th position. Wolf running 8. Boy, that is incredible. He said earlier, I'll take what I can get in the A-main if I win the B. Well, he's getting a lot more than I think he thought he would.
Oh, yeah. All he needs now is a caution. And who's to know what would happen, because that'll pack him right up with the leader. But right now, the Wolf has a relatively clear racetrack, and he is on the move.
And let's give some credit to Deuce Terrell and the boys that worked for him in that number 8 car to just, within minutes, get it back out as competitive as it was the race before. An incredible job by the entire team there.
But a puff of smoke now coming out of the 8 car. So remember, he told Gary that it was getting hot in that automobile, that they were worried about temperature, and it could be that that oil leak is starting to come back again.
That's right. That may well be a recurring problem. Oh, and the yellow is out. Dave Blaney is slowing on the front straight right under the starter stand, the 7C car. You said all Wolfgang needs is a caution. Well, you bought him one, Yates. Rather, Dave Blaney did.
Well, Dave didn't meet you, I'll guarantee you that, because he started 14th, had high hopes, got a very good race car, and had a good week here at Knoxville, but it appears to be over for him at this point. There is your leader, Mark Kinzer, coasting along. A little smoke from Mark as well. Wow-wee. You know, you very seldom see these race cars come apart like this, but now we've got 3 smokers out here. And there's Gary chasing down Steve Kinzer.
Well, Steve, it's been great for so many years in Knoxville, but not this time. What happened? Because it looked like you were just going backward from the green.
Well, I took off, and the mag went bad or something the first lap, and the more gas you try to give it, it wouldn't go. And it just, something happened right on the very start. Well, I think the car was working perfect. I don't think it'd have been any race to it, but don't matter. It's over with. We didn't make it.
You think Mark has got enough muscle that he can hang on and win this thing now?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had a chance to really watch.
Thanks, Steve.
Well, if Steve Kinzer had a chance to watch, he'd be concerned about his cousin, because smoke started coming out of that engine and is still coming out of it. As soon as the yellow was displayed, there's Mark Kinzer. He will be the leader when again we go to green. But there is something indeed wrong with that car. In fact, as Brock said, we've got, oh my goodness, he is stopping that car. That young man is furious. It is obvious by his actions that that car is done for the night. He had the world's most important sprint car race within his grasp, and it has escaped him. Mark Kinzer is out. Bobby Allen will be our new leader when we come back to the Knoxville National. Incredible.
Is this the way people see your smile? He can't do anything about those teeth, but you can. Now there's Dazzle, the incredible tooth whitener that gives you a movie star smile the very first time you use it. Look, food dulls your teeth. Dazzle brightens them like this. Coffee yellows your teeth. Dazzle makes them pearly white. Smoking stains your teeth. Dazzle gives them exciting new sparkle. Ordinary brushing just gets rid of food particles and surface dirt. But Dazzle reaches deep down within the enamel to lift out stains and years of discoloration. It's an all-natural treatment that's proven safe and effective. Just follow these 3 easy steps. First, rinse your mouth for 15 seconds with this refreshing conditioning pre-rinse. Then apply this oxygenation gel with an ordinary cotton swab. You'll actually feel this amazing formula work, whitening and brightening. The finishing touch is this polishing cream that gives your teeth that high gloss gleam and leaves your mouth refreshed. In less than 5 minutes, you'll have the dazzling smile you've always dreamed of. Teeth as white as this dentist's model. It's the perfect example of how your teeth should look. And with Dazzle, it's how your teeth will look. Movie stars have paid thousands of dollars for a smile this bright. And you've seen other tooth whitening systems for as much as $50. But Dazzle is yours now for only $14.95. That's right, forget $50. This dazzling smile is yours for the incredible low price of only $14.95. Save COD, use your credit card, and call now.
To order, have your credit card ready and call 1-800-942-4300 or send check or money order for $14.95 plus $3.50 shipping and handling to Dazzle, 2000 American Way, Roanoke, Virginia, or call now 1-800-942-4300.
Neither rain, beast, nor flyaway balloons keep folks away from the fair. Hosted by Mike Snyder.
Well, I moved that dish across the sky and I locked her down on West Star 5, and there sat a man with a beard and a funny hat.
I'm dreaming of you.
With the Statler Brothers as special guests, you'll love Fairs and Festivals, Bluefield, West Virginia. Wednesday night, 8 Eastern on TNN.
Who could have possibly predicted at the start of this race that both the front row starters, both members of the famed Kinser family, would fall out due to engine failure? The second casualty, Mark Kinser, after a brilliant drive, had the race in hand, and suddenly, under caution, the car stalled on the straightaway, and he is out of the race. And now another potential casualty, Steve Evans. The second place car, Sammy Swindell's, is also smoking.
Absolutely. He is just behind Bobby Allen. Is that smoke sapping any horsepower? It didn't appear to be so. It's just a leak of some kind, but Sammy's going to have to deal with it as the green is out. Bobby Allen, Sammy Swindell running 1 and 2. Stevie Smith in the red 77 behind them. 9 laps to go.
Okay, the 1A, Scruffy, Bobby Allen, the original outlaw, down low in his customary tight line around this half mile. And Sammy Swindell, also the customary rim rider, up on top, up against the marbles on the cushion, trying the long way around. So it's two opposing styles of driving here, and right now it's Bobby Allen that seems to have the advantage.
With over $35,000 to the winner, Sammy Swindell will risk a scorched motor if it'll just hang on long enough to get around Scruffy Bobby Allen. Swindell not making up any more money.
He certainly isn't. Bobby Allen was coming down to finish the 7th lap. He is holding on to a strong lead.
So it's Bobby Allen indeed leads the smoking Sammy Swindell. Let's go down into the pit where Gary Sherrill has chased down yet another Kinser.
Mark, I know you've never had a better opportunity to win the biggest race of your career. What ended your night?
We blew a motor just there about 2 laps before that last yellow started to vibrate. I thought, dear God, don't let there be a yellow. I didn't know how many laps were left, but we might have been able to struggle to about a 3rd place finish, but on a yellow, when you snap back on the gas on a motor like this, it's real hard on him, and on the backstretch, it just split on him.
Disappointing night. Thank you for talking with us.
Thank you.
Steve? And it's the highest quality equipment in sprint car racing that is letting the drivers down tonight. There, the quiet car of Mark Kinser. Nothing quiet about Bobby Allen and Sammy Swindell. They are still at it. Swindell has taken the lead. Oil, smoke, and occasionally fire. The black car still drives away from Bobby Allen.
Seeking his second Knoxville National victory. There's suddenly a charge to the front by a smoking black number 1 driven by Sammy Swindell. And now he's moved out to maybe about 3 car lengths here. 3 laps left, Steve.
About 2 1/4 right now, Buck. Bobby Allen starting to mount a charge. Look at Bobby Allen going down low. Swindell way up high.
Terrific automobile race. Neck and neck. Allen a link ahead as they come down the back straightaway. Sammy Swindell crushes the fence. Down into turn number 3. Swindell on the throttle all the way. Scruffy hangs down low. The white flag is out.
Bobby Allen, one of the most popular drivers ever at the Knoxville National. The classic underdog is leading Sammy Swindell toward what could be the biggest payday of Bobby Allen's life. He could run a half a season on 35 grand. Bobby Allen, the new king of Knoxville.
And here comes Doug Wolfgang, the Wolf, all the way up to 5th place. A fantastic comeback.
And I guarantee you, running totally unsponsored, Bobby Allen and crew will party till sunup.
This is Motor Trend's top 10 pick as the best American sports sedan buy. And this, the best American EconoSport. And this, the best American minivan. All of which have one thing in common, the name Dodge. Dodge Spirit RT, Shadow ES Turbo, and Caravan. Joined by yet a 4th top 10 selection, the 300 horsepower Dodge Stealth RT Twin Turbo.
Now, get up to $1,500 cash back on select Dodge cars.
The next time your car is in the shop, remember, Fram oil filters protect your engine better because they stop more dirt the first time through than any other filter. Fram, you could pay a little now or a lot later.
If you've ever had fresh vegetables right out of Norma Boaz's garden in Pilot Mountain, North Carolina, then you already know a lot about the Cracker Barrel. The finest ingredients cooked up to authentic country recipes with the same pride that goes into everything Miss Norma puts up. When you're traveling along the interstates of this land, you might look for this sign. You'll enjoy the same kind of cooking this great country's been enjoying for over 150 years.
There's more and more water being polluted right now. People, they're just dumping all this junk into the clean rivers.
Well, I think everybody should recycle and not just throw things without thinking where they go next and how long they'll stay on the earth.
So we need to save the water, and we have to care about it.
Please keep their water clean. Pure water, pure country.
We thought you'd like to know. Ricky Skaggs has helped guide country music back to its roots. This Kentuckian not only sings, he's an excellent instrumentalist and record producer. In Great Britain, Ricky recently won the award for Country Artist of the Decade. He's also the current TNN Music City News Instrumentalist of the Year. We thought you'd like to know. From TNN, the heart of country.
Maybe the greatest single night of sprint car racing ever, here at Knoxville or anyplace else. Bobby Allen has won his first ever Knoxville Nationals Championship, and I doubt right now that's even totally sunk in. Brock?
All right, what a show! What a victory. Fantastic effort. Bobby. All right. Scrubby, congratulations. A little kiss. Hey, what do you, when he got you after the yellow, did you think he'd get him back right away?
I thought I had a chance, but I missed the bottom on that start, and I knew he got me because of that. And I seen him having trouble. And when he moved up out of my groove, I thought I had a chance again, because I just felt like if I took a lap or two, I got my tires hot again, I could run the bottom. I don't care, I won.
All right,
it
beautiful.
was those weld heads that did it.
Fantastic. Congratulations. Scruffy wins it, a sensational victory. Steve?
Sammy Swindell. Brock is out of his car, helmet off, looks at the right-hand side of the motor. The crowd still just screaming. Sammy can't quite come to grips with what happened to him. You were on fire part of the time, Sam. I don't know if you could see it.
Yeah, well, try to look through that. You can't see through that very good.
Oil and dirt. Dirt's bad enough. A courageous drive. It looked like you had it there next to the last lap or so.
I just really couldn't see. I got so oiled up and got a lot of oil on my hands, and I missed a corner just a little bit where I had to breathe it, and I got screwed up. We really couldn't run the bottom, and yeah, it was just, if we hadn't had the oil leak, it might have been a little better, but Bobby ran tough. He was strong. He could run the bottom.
Brock?
A great gang of drivers, including this man, Doug Wolfgang. For Steve Evans and Gary Gerald, I'm Brock Yates. Thanks for joining us from Knoxville.
The executive producer for American Sports Cavalcade is Harvey M. Palish. Produced and directed by John B. Mullen. Promotional consideration provided for and a fee paid by this special offer from Diamond P.
So you're headed out to Grandma's house for another joyous holiday season. Well, don't go empty-handed. You know how Granny likes that homemade mince pie? Maybe a little Waldorf salad, and what every Granny wants, whether in a stone farmhouse or a beachfront condominium. A copy of Diamond P's home video, and they walked away. Incredible crashes from stock car racing, motocross, IMSA and SCCA road racing, NHRA drag racing, Eastern modifieds, even swamp buggies, and more. Trust Santa Steve on this one. For Granny's copy and others on your gift list, here's how to get, and they walked away. Send $24.95 plus $3.50 shipping and handling to the address on your screen. Or better yet, call 1-800-453-9300. Visa and MasterCard accepted, no CODs.
Brought to you by Dodge. For performance, quality, safety, and value. Welcome home, America.